All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Honest Scholars, where we give you updates on what is trending in the world of academic, how you can gain insight into the various research features and things you need to know. This edition, I'm going to be talking to you about the MLA referencing style and how it's different from the APA referencing style, which I treated in my previous video. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it within the next 8 minutes. So we're currently in the 9th edition of the MLA style, the Modern Language Association referencing style, which offers a unique opportunity for researchers and for students, undergrad, and at different levels to leverage on the new features and the new things that have been incorporated into this style. Whether in terms of how you reference, how you cite, how you write your direct quotes, your paraphrase, and all that. So all of these are included in the new features. To begin with, the MLA style is usually used in the humanities, whether you study philosophy, or you're in English or literature, or you're in language, or you are in social sciences as well. You need the MLA referencing style to build your capacity in terms of how you become more knowledgeable in referencing and crediting sources that you use. Again, when you are citing your references, it is also important to follow a particular format and be consistent, and that's very important. So you don't mix MLA with APA, with Harvard, with Chicago, and the rest of that. So you got to be consistent, and that gives credibility and reliability to the work that you do. So how do you format your work? Important you take some tea as you go in, because research can be very exhaustive sometimes. So what are the formatting basics? And I think to start with, the Times New Roman has become the commonplace fonts that we used in research, and the 12 font size is also what many institutions and supervisors and professors ask for. But again, you have to also understand what is required probably by your department or by your faculty or by your institution. Again, so it's also important you do that. Then the margins for MLA is usually 1 inch on all sides, whether it is the left or the right. There has to be 1 inch margin. Again, double spacing the entire document from your chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3 and so on and so forth, up to the referencing and the appendix. There is the need for you to double space when you're using the MLA referencing style. Don't forget that some of these things are also specific to universities, specific to schools generally. They're specific to your institution or your department or faculty or your marker or your supervisor or your reviewer, depending. So you have to have that background knowledge of what is required with specific reference to the situation that you have. So I leave that to you to find out what that is required of you in that regard. So again, MLA also requires you to use header. And so in the header, you are required to provide the last name and the page number on each page in the upper right corner. Yeah, this is what the 9th edition has brought up, and I think we need to begin to get used to it. Probably they've not been there in previous editions, but these new editions have offered that opportunity to have that flexibility. So that freedom, again, is also a responsible freedom, I have to say. So to work around certain things in citing the work that you do. So again, like I discussed in the APA's referencing style, I'm also going to talk about the in-text citation here in the MLA. The MLA is quite unique and it's different from the APA in the sense that when you are doing your in-text citation, you are only required to provide the author's last name and the page number. In this instance, now what you just do is to provide, if, for example, scholars is the author of the book. So what you do is to provide scholars and the page number. You do not need to put any comment after the last name of the author. So again, it's also similar to APA because you're going to use the last name of the author. But in this instance, now there's no need for comma or comma between the last name and the next item. The next item on MLA is the page number, not the year of publication. You remember year of publication in APA, but in this instance, it is just the author's last name followed by the page number. There is no comma in between. So that's for a single author. Then if you are using multiple authors, you're going to write the last name of the first author and the last name of the second author joined together by the word and. So remember that it is and, not the ampersand symbol that you use when you're using APA referencing style. So when you join the two authors together by the use of and, then you put the page number. Don't forget there is no comma between the author's name and the page number, and there is no P before the number, the page number. I mean, there is no P. You remember in APA you have to put P before you write the number, but in this instance now there is no P. Just write the author's name, then followed by the page number, and that's perfect. So how do you do placement? And what we mean by placement is whether you used when you place in your direct, how do you place the author's last name and the page number? Where does it belong? Should it belong before the text or after the text? And as you can see here now, when you're doing your in-text citation, your last name, the last name of the author I mean, has to be placed either directly after your direct quote or after your paraphrase. It could be directly after the direct quote or your paraphrase, or it could be before any of the punctuation, which could be comma or a full stop, which we usually call the period. So the period that ends the sentence that contains the cited material, that the cited text that you pick from the literature, whether you paraphrase it or it is a direct quote. So your cited reference has to come either directly after the quote or after your paraphrase or before the punctuation. So it has to be before that punctuation. You have to put that you have to put the page number, the author's last name and the page number in parentheses. Then you now put dots, which is the period after or the comma after. So don't put it after the full stop or after the comma. It has to come before. So that's also very important. You note that. Then in AP references that we have what we call the reference list, but in this instance in MLA it is called works cited. That's all. So the title of that section of your work has to be works cited in MLA, as different from APA, which is references or reference list, as the case may be. Now, so how do you cite a single author? How do you cite multiple author? And how do you cite a double author in MLA under your works cited? Now, but the general rule of thumb is that you have to do it in alphabetical order, which is also what you do in APA references style. Your list of works cited has to be in alphabetical order. That's a given, whether in any kind of references style you are using. The work you are citing, the reference list has to be in an alphabetical order. So how do you cite a single author? Now, if you are using the MLA, so if you are using the MLA, you cite the single author by putting the name of the last name of the author and the first name of the author separated by a comma and a single space. Remember, in APA referencing style, you only use the last name of the author and the initial. But in this instance, you have to write the full name of the author, the last name, comma, a single space, and the first name. So when you do that, you put a full stop. You now write the title of the book. So maybe the book is MLA references style and introduction. put a full stop. After you put a full stop, write the name of the publisher. So who is the publisher? After the name of the publisher, now give us the title of give us the year of publication. So the year of publication usually comes last when you are using MLA references style. The year of publication comes last. Don't forget. And that's how it goes. So and then after the year of publication, you put a full stop, and that is for a single author. I'm going to be talking more because I just want you to understand the difference between MLA and APA, and I'm going to be talking more on how you can cite other sources, whether it is the conventional sources or the unconventional sources, including social media posts, websites, blogs, YouTube vlogs, YouTube videos, books, edited books, journal articles, and the rest of that. So the tips for success in your research, for your work not to be plagiarized or be flagged plagiarized, is to be consistent with the MLA guidelines throughout your paper. Do not mix it at all. Be very consistent. Double check your sources. Ensure that you quote the right pages, the right page numbers. Use the tools to generate accuracy, and ask for help. That's also very important. Don't take anything for granted, because you could be in a big mess. So you want to avoid that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can follow our social media handle on IG at Honest Scholars, on X at Honest Scholars, on Facebook at Honest Scholars, and if you go to our TikTok, it's also at Honest Scholars. We shall see you soon and for more videos. Thank you, and see you